later in life, and I've found it to be one of the greatest, if not my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. And the great law, briefly and simply stated, is that if you think in negative terms, you'll get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed. William Shakespeare put it this way: our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. George Bernard Shaw said, people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, make them. Well, it's pretty apparent, isn't it? And every person who discovered this for a while believed that he was the first one to work it out. We become what we think about. Now, it stands to reason that a person who's thinking about a concrete and worthwhile goal is going to reach it, because that's what he's thinking about. And we become what we think about. Conversely, the man who has no goal, who doesn't know where he's going, and whose thoughts must therefore be thoughts of confusion and anxiety and fear and worry, becomes what he thinks about. His life becomes one of frustration, fear, anxiety, and worry. And if he thinks about nothing, he becomes nothing. Now, how does it work? Why do we become what we think about? Well, I'll tell you how it works as far as we know. Now, to do this, I want to tell you about a situation that parallels the human mind. Suppose a farmer has some land, and it's good, fertile land. Now, the land gives the farmer a choice. He may plant in that land whatever he chooses. The land doesn't care. It's up to the farmer to make the decision. Now, remember, we're comparing the human mind with the land, because the mind, like the land, doesn't care what you plant in it. It will return what you plant, but it doesn't care what you plant. Now, let's say that the farmer has 2 seeds in his hand. One is a seed of corn, the other is nightshade, a deadly poison. He digs 2 little holes in the earth and he plants both seeds, one corn, the other nightshade. He covers up the holes, waters, and takes care of the land, and what will happen? Invariably, the land will return what is planted. As it's written in the Bible, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Remember, the land doesn't care. It will return poison in just as wonderful abundance as it will corn. So up come the 2 plants, one corn, one poison. Now, the human mind is far more fertile, far more incredible and mysterious than the land, but it works the same way. It doesn't care what we plant. Success, failure. A concrete, worthwhile goal, or confusion, misunderstanding, fear, anxiety, and so on. But what we plant, it will return to us. You see, the human mind is the last great unexplored continent on the earth. It contains riches beyond our wildest dreams. It will return anything we want to plant. Now, you might say, well, if that's true, why don't people use their minds more? Well, I think they've figured out an answer to that, too. Our mind comes as standard equipment at birth. It's free, and things that are given to us for nothing, we place little value on. Things that we pay money for, we value. The paradox is that exactly the reverse is true. Everything that's really worthwhile in life came to us free. Our mind, our soul, our body, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our intelligence, our love of family and children and friends. All these priceless possessions are free, but the things that cost us money are actually very cheap and can be replaced at any time. A good man can be completely wiped out and make another fortune. He can do that several times. Even if our home burns down, we can rebuild it, but the things we got for nothing, we can never replace. The human mind isn't used merely because we take it for granted. Familiarity breeds contempt. It can do any kind of job we assign to it, but generally speaking, we use it for little jobs instead of big important ones. Universities have proved that most of us are operating on about 10% of our abilities. Decide now, what is it you want? Plant your goal in your mind. It's the most important decision you'll ever make in your entire life. Do you want to be an outstanding salesman, a better worker at your particular job? Do you want to go places in your company, in your community? All you've got to do is plant that seed in your mind. Care for it. Work steadily toward your goal, and it will become a reality. It not only will, there's no way that it cannot. You see, that is a law, like the laws of Sir Isaac Newton, the laws of gravity. If you get on top of a building and jump off, you'll always go down. You'll never go up. And it's the same with all the other laws of nature. They always work. They're inflexible. Think about your goal in a relaxed, positive way. Picture yourself in your mind's eye as having already achieved this goal. See yourself doing the things you will be doing when you've reached your goal. Ours has been called the phenobarbital age, the age of ulcers and nervous breakdowns. At a time when medical research has raised us to a new plateau of good health and longevity, far too many of us worry ourselves into an early grave trying to cope with things in our own little personal ways, without learning a few great laws that will take care of everything for us. These things we bring on ourselves through our habitual way of thinking. Every one of us is the sum total of his own thoughts. He is where he is because that is exactly where he really wants to be, whether he'll admit that or not. Each of us must live off the fruit of his thoughts in the future, because what you think today and tomorrow, next month and next year, will mold your life and determine your future. You're guided by your mind. I remember one time I was driving through Arizona and I saw one of those giant earth-moving machines roaring along the road at about 35 miles an hour with what looked like 20 tons of dirt in it, a tremendous, incredible machine. And there was a little man perched way up on top with the wheel in his hands guiding it. And as I drove along, I was struck by the similarity of that machine to the human mind. Just suppose you're sitting at the controls of such a vast source of energy. Are you going to sit back and fold your arms and let it run itself into a ditch? Or are you going to keep both hands firmly on the wheel and control and direct this power to a specific, worthwhile purpose? It's up to you. You're in the driver's seat. You see, the very law that gives us success is a two-edged sword. We must control our thinking. The same rule that can lead a man to a life of success, wealth, happiness, and all the things he's ever dreamed of for himself and his family, that very same law can lead him into the gutters. It's all in how he uses it, for good or for bad. This is the strangest secret in the world. Now, why do I say it's strange, and why do I call it a secret? Actually, it isn't a secret at all. It was first promulgated by some of the earliest wise men, and it appears again and again throughout the Bible. But very few people have learned it, understand it. That's why it's strange, and why, for some equally strange reason, it virtually remains a secret. I believe that you could go out and walk down the main street of your town and ask one man after another what the secret of success is, and you probably wouldn't run into one man in a month who could tell you. Now, this information is enormously valuable to us if we really understand it and apply it. It's valuable to us not only for our own lives, but the lives of those around us, our family, employees, associates, and friends. Life should be an exciting adventure. It should never be a bore. A man should live fully, be alive. He should be glad to get out of bed in the morning. He should be doing a job he likes to do because he does it well. One time I heard Grove Patterson make a speech, the editor-in-chief of the Toledo Daily Blade. And as he concluded his speech, he said something that I've never forgotten. He said something like this: "My years in the newspaper business have convinced me of several things. Among them, that people are basically good, and that we came from someplace, and we're going someplace. So we should make our time here an exciting adventure. The architect of the universe didn't build a stairway leading nowhere. And the greatest teacher of all, the carpenter from the plains of Galilee, gave us the secret time and time again. As ye believe, so shall it be done unto you." On side number 1 of this record, I've explained the strangest secret in the world and how it works. Now, on this side, I want to explain how you can prove to yourself the enormous returns possible in your own life by putting this secret to a practical test. I want you to make a test that will last 30 days. Now, it isn't going to be easy. If you'll give it a good try, it will completely change your life for the better. Back in the 17th century, Sir Isaac Newton, the English mathematician and natural philosopher, gave us some natural laws of physics which apply as much to human beings as they do to the movement of bodies in the universe. Now, one of these laws is that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Simply stated, as it applies to you and me, it means we can achieve nothing without paying the price. The results of your 30-day experiment will be in direct proportion to the effort you put forth. To be a doctor, you must pay the price of long years of difficult study. To be successful in selling, and remember that each of us succeeds to the extent of his ability to sell. Selling our families on our ideas, selling education in schools, selling our children on the advantages of living the good and honest life, selling our associates and employees on the importance of being exceptional people. To, of course, the profession of selling itself. But to be successful in selling our way to the good life, we must be willing to pay the price. Now, what is that price? Well, it's many things. First, it's understanding emotionally, as well as intellectually, that we literally become what we think about, that we must control our thoughts if we're to control our lives. It's understanding fully that, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Secondly, it's cutting away all the fetters from the mind and permitting it to soar as it was divinely designed to do. It's the realization that your limitations are self-imposed and that the opportunities for you today are enormous beyond belief. It's rising above narrow-minded pettiness and prejudice. Thirdly, to use all your courage to force yourself to think positively on your own problems, to set a definite and clearly defined goal for yourself, to let your marvelous mind think about your goal from all possible angles, to let your imagination speculate freely upon many different possible solutions, to refuse to believe there are any circumstances sufficiently strong to defeat you in the accomplishment of your purpose, to act promptly and decisively when your course is clear, and to keep constantly aware of the fact that you are, at this moment, standing in the middle of your own acre of diamonds, as Russell Conwell used to point out. Fourth, save at least 10% of what you earn. It's also remembering that no matter what your present job, it has enormous possibilities if you're willing to pay the price. Now let's just go over the important points in the price each of us must pay to achieve the wonderful life that can be ours. It is, of course, worth any price. 1, you will become what you think about. 2, remember the word imagination. Let your mind soar.
No, thanks.
3,
Sorry, I didn't know you were going to drink
concentrate on your
today.
goal every day. 4, save 10% of what you want. And action. Ideas are worthless
Why is that?
unless we
They're-
act on them.
They're good.
She's happy.
Now I'll try to outline the 30-day test I want you to make. Now keep in mind that you have nothing to lose by
Right.
making this test
I'll be shocked
and
if I don't get
everything
sick
you could
from going
possibly
out
want
fishing with all those people
to
having
gain.
planes. So-
Right.
There are two things that may be said
She
of everyone.
said that
Each
he
of
seemed
us
fine
wants
today. I said, "You think it
something,
was just like a stroke?"
and each of us
And I
is
even called
afraid
him. I
of
said,
something.
"Was he drinking?" Like I
I
said,
want you to
was
write
trying
on the
to think of
card what it
could
is
be.
you want
She
more
said,
than
"Nick,
anything
no,
else.
he wasn't that.
It may be
Yes,
more
he
money.
does drink. And
Perhaps
I-
you'd
I'm
like
not-
to double
I'm
your
not
income
judging it.
or
It
make
has
a
nothing to do with
specific
this,
amount of
but
money.
I've seen
It
him,
may
I've
be
seen
a
him
beautiful
stumble
home.
when he's drinking.
It
Right.
may be success at your
She
job.
said, "No, he
It
was."
may be a
no.
particular
She said,
position
"He
in
didn't bring
life.
a drink out when
It
he
could
came,"
be a
but
more
she said, "I've never
harmonious
seen anything
family.
like that." She was like,
Each of us want something.
Really.
Write
And
down
so
on your
he's had
card
plenty of them.
specifically what it is
And
that you
so,
want.
yeah.
Make sure it's
But
a
the
single
thing
goal
is-
and clearly defined.
Is
You needn't show it to anyone, but
Can you
carry
take
it with
care of
you
her
so
mom?
that you can look at it several times a day.
Right.
Think about it in a cheerful,
she
relaxed,
said right now
positive
he's
way
just
each
sitting
morning
in
when you
the
get up, and
TV.
immediately
She
you have
said
something
it
to
is
work
getting
for,
worse.
something
as
to
when,
get out of bed for,
you know,
something to
there was
live
one time
for.
he couldn't get off his
Look
legs.
at it every chance you get during the day
Right.
and just before going to bed at night.
I mean, it's some hard
As you look
decisions
at it,
she's going to have to make.
remember
But
that you
Jody's in
must
for
become
Thursdays
what you
with
think
Linda.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're thinking about your goal.
And
you
I
realize
was
that
going to say
soon it will
something
be
to
yours.
Tim and Jeannie
In
and
fact,
George and Adrian.
it's
I knew
yours
it was gonna
really
go
the
up.
moment you write it
I
down.
think let's just
and
keep
begin
it a little.
to
Like,
think about
we're going there. Jody
Look
wants
at
to
the
try to
abundance
meet
all around
people
you
and
as you go
stuff.
about
And
your daily
I, you know,
business.
so
You have as much right to this
me,
abundance as
you
any
know,
other living
just the
creature.
four of us.
It's
okay,
yours
you
for the
want
asking.
Gene in there? All right, fine.
Now we
Let's
come to the
keep it
difficult
like
part.
that. We're just
Difficult
trying
because it
to
means the formation
mingle a
of what
little
is
bit
probably
with
a
Jody.
brand new
You know,
habit.
that's the way I look
And
at
new
it.
habits are not easily formed. Once formed, however, it'll follow you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about what it is you fear.
All right, that sounds good.
Each time a
So
fearful or
okay, good.
negative
We're
thought
not
comes
going.
into your
That
consciousness.
makes sense.
Replace it with a mental picture of your positive and worthwhile goal. There will come times when you will feel like giving up. It's easier for a
Yeah.
human being to think negatively than positively.
Yeah, he might have
That's
had,
only
as
5%
my
of success.
sister would say, an
You must
episode.
begin now to place
You know?
yourself in that group. For 30 days, you must take control of your mind. It will think only about what you permit it to think. Each day for this 30-day test,
Oh.
do more than you have to do. In addition to maintaining a cheerful, positive
Exactly.
outlook, give of yourself more than you've
Right.
ever done before. Do this knowing that your returns in life must be in direct proportion to what you give.
It's not fair
The moment you decide on a goal to work toward, you're immediately a successful person. You're then in that rare and successful category of people who know where they're going. Out of every 100 people,
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
know if
top
I
five.
would, because it
don't concern
really,
yourself too much with
you know,
how you're
once
going
you get
achieve
to a
your
point,
goals.
it's
Leave
just like
that
right now.
completely to a power
We're taking
greater than yourself.
supplements right now.
All you have to do
to
is know
try
where
to
you're going.
The
answers will come to you
where we're
of
at,
their own
if
accord.
not improve. You get down
Remember
the
these
slippery
words from the
slope
Sermon on the Mount
too far,
and remember them
like
well.
he is.
Keep them constantly
can't-
before you this month
can't-
of your test.
You can't get it back.
Ask,
you know,
and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh, receiveth, and he that seeketh, findeth.
Well,
And to
you
him
know,
that
I
knocketh,
mean, and
it shall be opened.
that's debatable, I
it's
guess.
as
you know.
marvelous.
I mean,
and as
she's
simple
not
as
exactly in the best health
In
herself.
fact, it's so simple
well,
that in our
well,
seemingly
but that's the
complicated
point.
world,
I mean,
it's
you say,
difficult
well,
for an adult
the
to
reason she's
understand
there
that
is
all
because
he
of
needs
him.
is a
No.
purpose and
The reason
faith.
it's there is because she
For
doesn't
30
take care of herself
do your best.
like she should.
If you're a salesman, go at it as
Now,
you've
I'm
never
not
done
judging.
before.
I'm
Not
just
in hectic
stating
fashion,
what
but with the calm,
appears to be a
cheerful
fact.
assurance that time well spent will give you the abundance in return you deserve. And
Well, now because
if you're a homemaker, devote your 30-day test to complete giving of yourself without thinking about receiving anything in return.
right? No,
And
I
you'll be
agree.
amazed
Yep,
at the difference it makes
that
in your life.
part. Yep.
No matter what your job, do it as you've never done it before for 30
But
days.
that's just affecting
And
her social
you've
life.
kept your goal
That
before you
should
every
be
day,
affecting her health.
You'll wonder and marvel at this new life you've
That should be affecting her
Dorothea
social
Brand,
life.
outstanding
That
editor
I
and
don't know
writer,
if it's
discovered it
affecting
for
her
herself
health.
and tells
Sitting there
about it in
watching
her fine book,
TV
Wake
or
Up and
movies
Live.
with him,
Her
rather
entire
than going
philosophy is
golfing,
reduced to the words,
is not really
act
affecting
as
her
though
health.
it were
I mean, you say, wow,
impossible
she needs.
to
Huh.
fail.
I'm
She
not
made
gonna
her
argue
own test
today. I mean, I'm
with
just saying
sincerity
I
and
don't
faith,
know, that might be
And her
pushing
entire
it.
life was changed to
No,
one of
but,
overwhelming success. Now you make your test.
Oh yeah,
30
you know,
full
and
days.
she does leave
Don't
him
start your
and
test
goes
until you've
golfing,
made up
but
your
her
mind to
back,
stick with it.
you know,
You see,
and that's what
by
I.
being persistent, you're demonstrating faith. Persistence is simply another word for faith. If you didn't have faith, you would never persist. If you should fail during your first 30
No,
days, by
all
that I
right.
mean suddenly find yourself overwhelmed by negative
Exactly.
thoughts,
There's no
you've got to
price
start over
difference.
again from that point and go 30 more days.
Yep.
Gradually, your new habit will form until you find yourself one of that wonderful minority to whom
All right.
virtually
Awesome.
nothing is impossible.
Okay, I'm gonna finish up
Don't
here.
forget the card. It's vitally important as you begin this new way of living. On one side of the card, write your goal, whatever it may be. On the other side, write the words we've quoted from the Sermon on the Mount. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. In your spare time during your test period, read books that will help you. Inspirational books like the Bible, Dorothea Brand's Wake Up and Live, The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, and other books that instruct and inspire. Nothing great was ever accomplished without inspiration.
No.
See that during these crucial first 30 days, your own inspiration is kept at a peak. Above all, don't worry. Worry brings fear, and fear is crippling. The only thing that can cause you to worry during your test is trying to do it all yourself. Know that all you have to do is hold your goal before you. Everything else will take care of itself. Remember also to keep calm and cheerful. Calm and cheerful. Don't let petty things annoy you and get you off course. Now, since making this test is difficult, some may say, well, why should I bother? Well, look at the alternative. No one wants to be a failure. No one really wants to be a mediocre individual. No one wants a life constantly filled with worry, fear, and frustration. Therefore, remember that you must reap that which you sow. If you sow negative thoughts, your life will be filled with negative things. If you sow positive thoughts, Your life will be cheerful, successful, and positive. Now, gradually, you'll have a tendency to forget what you've heard on this record. Play it often. Keep reminding yourself of what you must do to form this new habit. Gather your whole family about and listen to what's been said here at regular intervals. You know, most men will tell you that they want to make money without understanding the law. The only people who make money work in the mint. The rest of us must earn money. This is what causes those who keep looking for something for nothing or a free ride to fail in life. The only way to earn money is by providing people with services or products which are needed and useful. We exchange our product or service for the other man's money. Therefore, the law is that our financial return will be in direct proportion to our service. Success is not the result of making money. Making money is the result of success. And success is in direct proportion to our service. Most people have this law backwards. They believe that you're successful if you earn a lot of money. The truth is that you can only earn money after you're successful. It's like the story of the man who sat in front of the stove and said to it, "Give me heat, and then I'll add the wood." How many men and women do you know, or do you suppose there are today, who take the same attitude toward life? There are millions. We've got to put the fuel in before we can expect heat. Likewise, we've got to be of service first before we can expect money. Don't concern yourself with the money. Be of service. Build, work, dream, create. Do this, and you'll find there's no limit to the prosperity and abundance that will come to you. Prosperity is founded upon a law of mutual exchange. Any person who contributes to prosperity must prosper in turn himself. Sometimes the return will not come from those you serve, but it must come to you from someplace, for that is the law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. As you go daily through your 30-day test period, remember that your success will always be measured by the quality and quantity of service you render, and money is a yardstick for measuring this service. No man can get rich himself unless he enriches others. There are no exceptions to a law. You can drive down any street in America and from your car estimate the service that's being rendered by the people living on that street. Had you ever thought of this yardstick before? It's interesting. Some, like ministers and priests and other devoted people, measure their returns in the realm of the spiritual, but again, their returns are equal to their service. Once this law is fully understood, any thinking person can tell his own fortune. If he wants more, he must be of more service to those from whom he receives his return. If he wants less, he has only to reduce this service. This is the price you must pay for what you want. If you believe you can enrich yourself by deluding others, you can only end by deluding yourself. It may take some time, but just as surely as you breathe, you'll get back what you put out. Don't ever make the mistake of thinking you can avert this. It's impossible. The prisons and the streets where the lonely walk are filled with people who tried to make new laws just for themselves. We may avoid the laws of man, but there are greater laws.
Yeah. Are you planning on taking him for a walk or no?
An outstanding
Oh,
medical
God.
doctor recently pointed out 6 steps that will help you realize success. 1, set yourself a definite goal. 2, quit running yourself down. 3, stop thinking of all the reasons why you cannot be successful, and instead, think of all the reasons why you can. 4, trace your attitudes back through your childhood and try to discover where you first got the idea you couldn't be a success, if that's the way you've been thinking. 5, change the image you have of yourself by writing out a description of the person you would like to be. And 6, act the part of the successful person you have decided to become. Live this new way and the floodgates of abundance will open and pour over you more riches than you may have dreamed existed. Money? Yes, lots of it. But what's more important, you'll have peace. You'll be in that wonderful minority who lead calm, cheerful, successful lives. Start today. You have nothing to lose, but you have a life to win.